Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Form a mental image of something that is not present or that is not the case. Expect, believe, or suppose. I imagine she earned a lot of money with her new novel. Form a mental image of something that is not present or that is not the case. Can you conceive of him as the president? Form a mental image of something that is not present or that is not the case. Form a mental image of something that is not present or that is not the case. An estimate based on little or no information. Guess correctly. Solve by guessing. He guessed the right number of beans in the jar and won the prize. Judge tentatively or form an estimate of quantities or time. Expect, believe, or suppose. I guess she is angry at me for standing her up. A message expressing an opinion based on incomplete evidence. Put forward, of a guess, in spite of possible refutation. I am guessing that the price of real estate will rise again. Expect, believe, or suppose. Express one's opinion openly and without fear or hesitation. Have faith or confidence in. Judge to be probable. Take account of. You have to reckon with our opponents. Expect, believe, or suppose. Deem to be. Make a mathematical calculation or computation. Express a supposition. Take for granted or as a given, suppose beforehand. I presuppose that you have done your work. To believe especially on uncertain or tentative grounds. Scientists supposed that large dinosaurs lived in swamps. Expect, believe, or suppose. Require as a necessary antecedent or precondition. This step presupposes two prior ones. Judge or regard. Look upon, judge. I think he is very smart. Recall knowledge from memory. Have a recollection. I can't think what her last name was. Have in mind as a purpose. She didn't think to harm me. Expect, believe, or suppose. He didn't think to find her in the kitchen. Use or exercise the mind or one's power of reason in order to make inferences, decisions, or arrive at a solution or judgments. I've been thinking all day and getting nowhere. An instance of deliberate thinking. I need to give it a good think. Bring into a given condition by mental preoccupation. Decide by pondering, reasoning, or reflecting. Can you think what to do next? Dispose the mind in a certain way. Do you really think so? Focus one's attention on a certain state. Think thin. Have or formulate in the mind. Think good thoughts. Imagine or visualize. Just think you could be rich one day. Ponder. Reflect on, or reason about. Be capable of conscious thought. Man is the only creature that thinks. Create mentally and abstractly rather than with one's hands. Create mentally and abstractly rather than with one's hands. Regard something as probable or likely. The meteorologists are expecting rain for tomorrow. Consider obligatory. Request and expect. I expect my students to arrive in time for their lessons. Look forward to the probable occurrence of. We were expecting a visit from our relatives. Be pregnant with. They are expecting another child in January. Consider reasonable or due. I'm expecting a full explanation as to why these files were destroyed. Look forward to the birth of a child. She is expecting in March. Regard something as probable or likely. Make a prediction about. Tell in advance. Be excited or anxious about. Act in advance of. Deal with ahead of time. Realize beforehand. Be a forerunner of or occur earlier than. This composition anticipates Impressionism. Have a fancy or particular liking or desire for. Something many people believe that is false. A predisposition to like something. She had dismissed him quite brutally, relegating him to the status of a passing fancy, or less. Imagine. Conceive of. See in one's mind. Imagination or fantasy. Held by Coleridge to be more casual and superficial than true imagination. Never had the wildest flights of fancy imagined such magnificence. Not plain, decorative or ornamented. Fancy handwriting. Indulge in fantasies. Portray in the mind. Indulge in fantasies. Portray in the mind. Imagination unrestricted by reality. A schoolgirl fantasy. Indulge in fantasies. Something many people believe that is false. Fiction with a large amount of imagination in it. One of the elements that collectively form a system of numeration. Judge to be probable. Be or play a part of or in. Elections figure prominently in every government program. A diagram or picture illustrating textual material. A decorative or artistic work. The property possessed by a sum or total or indefinite quantity of units or individuals. The figure was about 1,000. A well-known or notable person. She is an important figure in modern music. Alternative names for the body of a human being. Imagine. Conceive of. See in one's mind. Language used in a figurative or non-literal sense. Make a mathematical calculation or computation. A combination of points and lines and planes that form a visible palpable shape. A model of a bodily form, especially of a person. He made a figure of Santa Claus. An amount of money expressed numerically. A figure of $17 was suggested. A predetermined set of movements in dancing or skating. She made the best score on compulsory figures. A unitary percept having structure and coherence that is the object of attention and that stands out against a ground. The impression produced by a person. He cut a fine figure. Understand. He didn't figure her. Picture to oneself. Imagine possible. Act in advance of. Deal with ahead of time. Realize beforehand. An iconic mental representation. Her imagination forced images upon her too awful to contemplate. A visual representation of an object or scene or person or abstraction, produced on a surface. A movie is a series of images projected so rapidly that the eye integrates them. A representation of a person, especially in the form of sculpture. The emperor's tomb had his image carved in stone. Jungian psychology, a personal facade that one presents to the world. A public image is as fragile as Humpty Dumpty. A standard or typical example. He provided America with an image of the good father. Imagine, conceive of, see in one's mind. Language used in a figurative or non-literal sense. Mathematics, the set of values of the dependent variable for which a function is defined. The image of f, x, equals x squared is the set of all non-negative real numbers if the domain of the function is the set of all real numbers. Someone who closely resembles a famous person, especially an actor. She's the very image of her mother. Render visible, as by means of MRI. The general impression that something, a person or organization or product, presents to the public. Although her popular image was contrived, it served to inspire music and pageantry. Graphic art consisting of an artistic composition made by applying paints to a surface. His pictures hang in the Louvre. A visual representation of an object or scene or person or abstraction, produced on a surface. They showed us the pictures of their wedding. A situation treated as an observable object. The political picture is favorable. Show in, or as in, a picture. Illustrations used to decorate or explain a text. The dictionary had many pictures. A form of entertainment that enacts a story by sound and a sequence of images giving the illusion of continuous movement. A graphic or vivid verbal description. Too often the narrative was interrupted by long word pictures. A clear and telling mental image. He described his mental picture of his assailant. Imagine, conceive of, see in one's mind. The visible part of a television transmission. They could still receive the sound, but the picture was gone. A representation of a person or scene in the form of a print or transparent slide or in digital format. A typical example of some state or quality. The very picture of a modern general. Indicate, as with a sign or an omen. Imagine or consider beforehand. It wasn't as bad as I had prefigured. Any piece of work that is undertaken or attempted. Extend out or project in space. Make or work out a plan for, devise. Put or send forth. A planned undertaking. Imagine, conceive of, see in one's mind. Present for consideration, examination, criticism, etc. The candidate projects himself as a moderate and a reformer. Regard as objective. Throw, send, or cast forward. Project a missile. Cause to be heard. His voice projects well. Communicate vividly. He projected his feelings. Draw a projection of. Project on a screen. The images are projected onto the screen. Transfer, ideas or principles, from one domain into another. Take charge of or deal with. Could you see about lunch? Make sense of. Assign a meaning to. What message do you see in this letter? Go to see a place, as for entertainment. We went to see the Eiffel Tower in the morning. See or watch. This program will be seen all over the world. Get to know or become aware of, usually accidentally. I see that you have been promoted. Date regularly. Have a steady relationship with. Did you know that she is seeing an older man? Find out, learn, or determine with certainty, usually by making an inquiry or other effort. I want to see whether she speaks French. Perceive or be contemporaneous with. You'll see a lot of cheating in this school. Undergo or live through a difficult experience. Be careful or certain to do something. Make certain of something. Come together. I'll probably see you at the meeting. Accompany or escort. I'll see you to the door. Perceive, an idea or situation, mentally. Now I see. Imagine. Conceive of. See in one's mind. I can't see him on horseback. Observe, check out, and look over carefully or inspect. I must see your passport before you can enter the country. Deem to be. I don't see the situation quite as negatively as you do. Deliberate or decide. Let's see, which movie should we see tonight? Go to see for a social visit. I went to see my friend Mary the other day. Go to see for professional or business reasons. You should see a lawyer. Match or meet. Observe as if with an eye. Perceive by sight or have the power to perceive by sight. You have to be a good observer to see all the details. Receive as a specified guest. The doctor will see you now. See and understand, have a good eye. The artist must first learn to see. The seat within a bishop's diocese where his cathedral is located. Have a daydream. Indulge in a fantasy. Observe the stars. Make visible. View the outline of by means of an X-ray. Imagine. Conceive of. See in one's mind. Form a mental picture of something that is invisible or abstract. Make visible. With this machine, ultrasound can be visualized. View the outline of by means of an X-ray. The radiologist can visualize the cancerous liver. Imagine. Conceive of. See in one's mind. Form a mental picture of something that is invisible or abstract. Mathematicians often visualize. Have a daydream. Indulge in a fantasy. Absent-minded dreaming while awake. Have dreamlike musings or fantasies while awake. She looked out the window, daydreaming. Have a daydream. Indulge in a fantasy. A cherished desire. Imaginative thoughts indulged in while awake. He lives in a dream that has nothing to do with reality. A series of mental images and emotions occurring during sleep. I had a dream about you last night. A fantastic but vain hope, from fantasies induced by the opium pipe. I have this pipe dream about being emperor of the universe. Have a daydream. Indulge in a fantasy. A state of mind characterized by abstraction and release from reality. He went about his work as if in a dream. Experience while sleeping. She claims to never dream. Someone or something wonderful. This dessert is a dream. Picture to oneself. Imagine possible. I cannot envision him as president. Imagine. Conceive of. See in one's mind.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.